Hello, everybody, and welcome to Culture of Gaming's Power Up Podcast, Episode 1. I'm Taylor, and this week I'm joined by Anthony.
Hey, going Taylor. It's nice to be here again for the second week in a row, or first week for this new podcast.
Yep. And I'm also joined by John.
How's it going, everybody? Glad to be here. I'm glad that you could have me.
I'm glad to have you both as well. We should be joined later in the show by Andrew, and we will be expecting his presence very soon. Anyway, so Anthony, what do you do here at Culture of Gaming? For those of them who don't know.
Yep. I'm actually the owner of Culture of Gaming. The site started up around 6 months ago, and we've been progressively building and getting a management team sorted and all that kind of stuff, and working on writers and about to move into paid writing and all that. So there's a lot of work ahead, but it's going quite well.
Sure sounds like it. John, what do you do here for Culture of Gaming?
I'm the social media manager. Anything that goes on Facebook, Twitter, any of that kind of stuff goes through me and my team. So we're working to help with the growth of the channel.
Awesome.
Yeah, every department benefits from what you do, so thank you for that. So I am mostly in charge of the media and podcast side of things, so all the stuff on YouTube and Twitch I probably have a little bit of a hand in, and I also help our editor-in-chief with whatever she wants me to do. So, yeah, that is my job description. I love it.
You do a good job, both of you. So.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, boss.
Yeah. So, first topic for today is the Game Awards aired a couple nights ago. I believe it was Thursday night. This is now Saturday, at least where I'm at. Yep. Sunday for some people.
Yeah, Sunday for me.
Yeah. Yeah, the Game Awards were on Thursday night, and so let's talk a little bit about that. Have you guys watched that at all? Did you see any of the stuff come out of it?
I saw some of the stuff that came out of it, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't watch it live. I was doing stuff.
Yeah, I've been watching the recording. How about you, Anthony?
Yeah. I actually haven't had time. I've been quite busy for the past 2 days, so Friday and Saturday, because it aired Friday for me. So I saw a couple of things that were thrown up in our group chat, but nothing to have really an opinion on it. Okay. Unfortunately.
Yeah. There were quite a few reveals. Let's just get right into that before we talk about any of the awards being won, or our opinions of the awards being won. So one of the biggest reveals, or maybe it wasn't a reveal, but it was more of a trailer release, was Hideo Kojima's latest game, Death Stranding, a 9-minute trailer.
Wow.
And
it was a great trailer, too.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I'm super excited for this game. I'm going to be buying a PS4 Pro just to play it. And yeah, I mean, so Kojima, who is the creator of the Metal Gear franchise, we always kind of knew he was into some really weird stuff. But, I mean, this is just on a whole other level than the weirdest Metal Gear got.
Yeah. It's almost like somebody freed him from Konami or something and just kind of gave him a blank check to do what he wants.
Yeah. It looks absolutely incredible. So, do you guys have any theories as to what the game could even be about?
I could speculate all I want. I'm 100% sure that nobody is even close by this point.
Okay. Anthony?
Kojima is definitely known for doing things,
a bit differently.
Yeah. And purposefully doing things to, mess with fans and mess with people, So
yeah.
I don't even know,
Well, I mean, I've seen a couple of the trailers, the original trailer that they put out. I'm not a PS4 player. I've only really owned a Xbox One for this latest lot of consoles that's been out. But it looks along the lines of what Kojima is known for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it should be, if it's anything like what the Metal Gear Solids have been like, then it should be hopefully a lot like that, which should make a decent game to pick up. But I was thinking about picking up a PS4 just to jump in and have a look at it, but I'm now looking at buying a PC. So there goes that idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good idea right now. I mean, as long as you just plan on playing at 1080p, you can have one for really cheap. Your biggest obstacle is still going to be the memory pricing issue, which we talked a little bit about last week. That's still a thing. So maybe by the time you get around to getting one, I don't know what your time frame is for this. It might go down a little bit, but
yeah, hopefully.
we can't be so sure.
Yeah.
But if all you want to do is play at really great settings at 1080p 60 FPS, then I mean a PC is on the cheaper side nowadays.
Yeah, and there's a lot more to choose from than what the consoles have. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking at, jumping into all the older titles that came out for PC. Like KOTORs and all of that. So I've played some of them on the original Xbox, but yeah, it should be an interesting experience. I've never been a PC gamer, so
Okay.
first time for everything.
Yeah, well, welcome to the club. Yeah.
I've never gotten into PC gaming either.
It's definitely worth it. It's been my primary platform to game on for 5 or 6 years now. So
yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
I like the idea of it.
Yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, it's really, in my opinion, it's really the way to go, because unless you're really in it for the console exclusives, like I just mentioned, buying a PS4 for Death Stranding, I'll probably also play some other console exclusives like Persona 5 on PS4. Looked really cool. I may end up with a PSVR also just for Ace Combat 7. I'm a huge fan of the Ace Combat series.
Ace Combat's awesome.
Yeah, Ace Combat 5, for a fighter jet game, its story was insane.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, so I mean, it won't be a total Death Stranding machine, but even if it is, oh well.
Yeah. At least you got to play a decent game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so another reveal at the Game Awards was either From Software, the developers of Dark Souls and Bloodborne and that whole series, or like the Blood Souls universe, I believe it's called, teased a new game and a really gory, disgusting trailer. It was like a bone that was being snapped by winches, and it had like blood in the middle or something. It's kind of hard to describe in words. I encourage everyone to go check it out and watch it for yourself. And so,
if you don't have a weak stomach.
Yeah, if you don't have a weak stomach, if I don't want to say if you're into that sort of thing, but if you can handle that sort of thing. And there was text at the end that said, "Shadows die twice." And that's either connected to Bloodborne somehow, which means a Bloodborne sequel, which I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to and would further justify my purchase of a PS4, or a brand new series or franchise.
And I think at one point From Software said that was what they were wanting to do, was a brand new franchise. Kind of get away from the Dark Souls.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Do something else for a while.
Yeah.
And they made Dark Souls 3 kind of their swan song or whatever. Whether they, I don't play those games too much because I'm not a man. But no, they're way too frustrating for me.
Fair enough.
They're really good games, and I mean, watching people play it is a lot of fun. So, I kind of would like to see them. From Software has, other franchises or other ideas that are interesting. That, I mean, I'd be down for them to make a mech game or make a horror game. Things that they've done in the past.
Something that's playable by the general population.
Yeah, you almost get more entertainment out of them, out of watching people play these games as opposed to playing them yourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I absolutely love all the universes that From is able to create in their games. So hopefully, if this is a new game, then they'll be able to create this like another compelling universe. I'm sure they can.
Yeah.
But I kind of wonder what they'll do differently in terms of gameplay.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I picked up the very original Demon Souls, probably 3 years back on the PS3. Gave up about half an hour later, and then I'm like, maybe Dark Souls is a little bit easier, and that didn't
No.
work out so well. So
Bloodborne also is supposed to be easier. It's not. It's
yeah. So I mean, they're not my games. They're not my. I'm more of a RPG person. Even though they're kind of RPG, it's more too hard for me. Too difficult.
Okay. And
Some people love them though.
yeah, now this is gonna sound like a really tainted or like pointed question, but I absolutely mean no malice when I asked it. What do you find hard about the series? Like, what do you find hard about these games?
uh,
Yeah, you can go, John. Go for it.
see, I find a lot of trouble in any game dodging or blocking or anything to that effect. I tend to just hit an attack button and
Yeah, yeah.
I forget that I have, dodging until like I'm, well past the point where I could dodge. And so, yeah, in one of those
Yeah.
games, it's not something you can do that in.
No.
Mm. Yeah, I'm a lot like that. I just get to a point where I'm so frustrated that it's just kind of a just die kind of thing. And you're
It's
just
like,
trying
oh,
to
end it now.
slash the boss to bits, and you just end up dying yourself. So
Hmm.
I find games that are even Injustice is not difficult, but stuff like that because I'm not a beat 'em up person.
Yeah.
Something where I'm just mashing a button is kind of the fallback response. So it's kind of what John said, kind of along that line.
Also, it's not a kind of game where you can kind of brute force your way through
Yeah,
it either.
exactly. Yeah,
Everything respawns if you,
yeah,
go level up or anything like that. And
yeah,
I don't mind difficulty if, like, I can kind of brute force my way through it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fair. And
Yeah.
I've actually thought about a lot about what like the various mechanics that make games difficult nowadays and everything. Because so my first Dark Souls game was Dark Souls 3 because the series was widely under my radar to play until
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3 came out. I mean, I knew all the memes around it and everything, but that was about it. And so I played Dark Souls 3 and I mean, absolutely loved the game. I'm still playing it today occasionally.
yep,
And recently I've been playing Dark Souls 1 a little bit, and I've
yep,
really started getting to thinking. It's like, okay, what is making the game difficult? Like, why is this game so difficult? Because I mean, there's not too complicated of mechanics, to be honest. Like, there's certainly not a lot of background game mechanics occurring or happening, so to speak, that are affecting things on a day to day. And so I find that a lot of the difficulty in Dark Souls 3 comes from the way enemies attack
yep,
because the
Yeah.
timings of it and everything are just a little bit off and vary from enemy to enemy. And also, it's not very what I would describe as numbers difficult, where, if something hits you, you're probably getting one shot.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah. And it's kind of like they're learning from you blocking, like you unblock them and they immediately hit you,
mhm.
and it's just you got to get the timing right and all that. So it's yeah,
Yeah, and so I found a lot of the difficulty actually comes from the timing in those games.
yeah,
Especially in
yeah,
Dark Souls 1, everything just seems to move a lot slower in that game. And my
Yeah.
biggest sense of frustration coming from Dark Souls 1 is dying and then having to go through the very slow combat of all the enemies leading up to the point where I was at and then continuing. Yeah,
yeah,
it just feels like such a time sink. But I'm perpetually going through a love-hate relationship of the game.
Sounds like everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've
yeah,
heard lots of stories about people who, one of the games they start playing and it clicks and then they can go back and play all the other ones. So I've given all of them, but I think Dark Souls 1 a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe one of them one day will click for me.
Okay.
But
mm,
I'm willing to try.
yeah. Sounds fair enough.
Yeah.
So let's see. Another Game Awards announcement or reveal is PUBG's desert map. So yeah, the current PUBG map is sort of like an abandoned. I would describe it as more of like a foresty island, And then from
Yeah.
what we've seen of this map, it's like an abandoned desert outpost or sprawl of land or something like that. And it seems very barren and desolate. There's a ton of open space in it.
Yep.
And so do you think so what do you think of this sort of so PUBG is trying to be a competitive esports title, what it really is, which is kind of odd to me because to see 100 people like playing a game on stage is going to be really weird in a couple of years. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
with this one, it doesn't. So a game like League of Legends only has one map played competitively. Okay,
Right.
because a lot more of the strategy in League of Legends goes towards interacting with some of the mechanics on the map, and then of course the strategy of the champions that you're playing.
Yeah.
But in a game like this, that's where we're now getting a second map, and which I guess can kind of make sense because you look at CS:GO or StarCraft and they play other maps also.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do you think a second map is fitting for PUBG or no?
I mean, the kind of game it is, a very realistic, you know, shooter. I would think that like having a second map would add a sense of like unknown to things.
Okay.
Especially if it's like a random, choice of the map. If both of the maps are weighted the right way to have like good competition on both maps and not oh, this has way too much wide open space and
Yeah.
can't attack or sneak very well.
Mm.
I think if they're both good, then it's great. If it's just to have a second map, uh it might not be so great.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
I guess it stands to be seen. We'll see, in the future how people take to it.
Mm. Is this map coming to the Xbox One version, or
I
is
believe
it
it
just for PC?
I believe it will at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of gameplay videos of it. Because on Xbox One, I haven't played it yet. That's not out yet. But I mean, if it's as long as they don't make it too huge, as long as they don't make the map too huge, and as long as they keep it, I mean, there is 100 players on the map at a time, so they might be able to avoid that. But I think they need more maps involved.
Okay.
So a bit of a change never hurt anything really, as long as they don't include microtransactions.
Right, right. That seems to be the key for
Yeah,
a lot of games nowadays. It's like just don't include microtransactions, please.
and we'll be right, exactly.
Yeah, it's like
I
everything will
know
be okay.
I know the developers have said that they probably are going to though. So
Well, will it be
Mm,
microtransactions like CS:GO loot bot style or
that's more, cosmetics and that kind of stuff. It's not going to be like weapons and that.
because I mean,
So, I mean, it's not so bad, but it is,
as long as
it's
it's
still
not pay to win.
right.
right.
'Cause I
Yeah.
mean, microtransactions definition has really expanded now due to the whole Battlefront 2 issue.
Yeah.
Mm,
And I mean, so you have like what I would describe as, and I really hate to use this word, but harmless microtransactions where, they don't really affect gameplay. They're purely
yeah.
cosmetic. So,
Yeah.
weapon skins in CSGO, etc., etc., versus pay to win stuff where, see Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Mm,
I agree with that. I mean, it would be, you know, I kind of miss like the old days when all of that customization stuff was in a game
Mm-hmm.
and you could just like get it. If that's something you wanted, you could play and unlock it and, in the normal course of things. But I also understand, you know, from the business side of things, they figured
yeah.
out they could make some money off of it. So, why not?
Mm.
Yeah, and I
Well, I mean,
mean,
if it's using mechanics like what Halo Reach use, where you've got to go through and earn your credits and then change your skins and then you can modify your armor and all that, then that's fine. But I mean, yeah, it turned back into a business model of how they can make money. So
yeah.
Yeah.
that's an unfortunate realization of what the industry's going towards, which is not that good. But yeah,
Right. And I mean, how far until we just kind of regress in the industry so that the only thing people play now are like really old 10-year-old games because they don't have microtransactions.
yeah.
Like, what's the time frame for that?
I think it's around the corner, really.
Yeah.
I
So,
I don't know. I mean, it depends on if games continue to come out that are you know worth playing and the microtransactions are harmless.
Mm-hmm.
I would play it. It's but like a Star Wars Battlefront, I think that definitely where somebody who has that extra $100 and is willing to throw it into the game will have a easier time winning than somebody who refuses to do so.
hmm.
That that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those.
well, I
That
mean, it's already starting to happen because there's a group that I'm a part of on Facebook, and when the two Battlefronts came out, they're like, "Oh, let's make a group and do the original, the original Battlefront
Yeah.
and the original Battlefront 2, and not buy the new ones and just do it that way because of the microtransactions and all of that." So you can kind of start to see it happening, but
yeah.
yeah, on some games it's kind of around the corner. On others, maybe a little bit longer.
I mean, and old games are games from 10 years ago are made completely different. Nostalgia is a powerful thing
Yeah,
where everybody gets old and everybody's like, oh, the games that I played when I was 12 are better than the games that are coming out now. I get on that a little bit too. The old Tomb Raider games are better than the new Tomb Raider games, I think, even though they're really wonky games. They
yeah,
just have the rose-colored glasses for them, so
Yeah.
yeah.
they seem better in retrospect.
And then you go back and play them now, and they're garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of Max Payne 2, and I realize, or the first Max Payne,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized that there's a lot of platforming in that game that for a guy who can't run straight to save his life, running on small little beams leads to a lot of really cheap deaths.
Yeah.
Mm.
Artificial intelligence, or not intelligence, artificial difficulty was a big thing back then.
Yeah, that's kind of goes back. This kind of loops around back to when I was looking at what makes like difficulty in Dark Souls. Where does the primary source of difficulty? I found that in Dark Souls 1 also, the mechanics are a little bit more cheaper,
Yeah.
so to speak. So it's like you get killed by maybe not the most incredibly interesting way, or it's like, really? Did that really happen? Are you kidding me?
Right.
There were definitely a lot more
Yeah.
moments in that game than there have been in Dark Souls 3 for me.
Yeah, like being on a little tight bridge or whatever and getting hit and knocked off instead of
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
difficulty's fine if you learn something from it. From what I understand, later Dark Souls are a lot better about if you died, it was your fault in some way, so you learn from your mistake and move on,
Yeah, that's
rather
definitely.
than it's time for you to die.
Yeah. This is where you die, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't have a choice. I think games need to make gamers use their imaginations a lot more
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of where gamers are kind of turning into not on a bad point, but kind of turning into zombies, just staring at the screen, doing what the game's telling them to do,
Right.
rather than trying to use their imagination to get out of a situation. So, I mean, RPGs use that element of using your imagination, but it'd be good if we saw, shooters and all of that going away from the non-linear pathway.
Yeah,
I would like to see that anyway.
the only like big two shooters I can think of, well, actually, there's only one because I think Battlefield has actually moved quite a bit away from this. Is Call of Duty is still kind of the mindless action of it.
The follow
Yeah.
marker as an objective.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in both single
kill some
player and
people.
multiplayer. Because,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
the argument can be made in Battlefield that, oh, you can destroy stuff in the environment to give you advantage and everything. And at the same time, that has consequences. You look at Rainbow Six Siege, it's like, it's all about the approach or the defense and
Yeah.
everything. And then you look at CSGO, there's a ton of strategy that goes into CSGO. And I mean, you can start making the case for everything. So I definitely think that a lot of games are, in fact, moving away from the mindlessness. But there will always be the audience for mindlessness action. Like, I will...
Right.
As a franchise, I will honestly defend Call of Duty a little bit, just because you have to realize the market that it's catered towards. It's not really geared towards, I say, like people like you or I, and who, you know, kind of enjoys playing a game and has a decent amount of time to play these games. I've always thought COD was a lot more marketed towards, you know, the, let's call it maybe mid-30s guy, or maybe kind of younger guy who maybe has a family or has other obligations outside of video games as a hobby and whatnot. And
This
hello,
guy right here.
and hello, Andrew. Yeah, and so, and there goes my overlay. I'll get that sorted out here in a minute. And welcome to the show, Andrew.
Seems to be still coming on, I believe.
Yeah, as soon as he loads in. Anyway.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah,
There we
welcome
go.
to the show, Andrew.
Perfect.
All right.
You guys got me? Am I loud enough?
Yep.
Hopefully?
Yeah, you're loud enough.
Cool.
Your picture is just a little bit laggy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so there's still a market for Call of Duty, which is why I'll defend the franchise. Like, it doesn't have to be good. It just has to be passable. It really does.
Yeah.
And all it has to do is entertain people who maybe have, 15, 20 minutes a night to play.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I'm in that group. I mean, I play other games. I'm playing Kingdom Hearts right now, and that's a game that will last forever. But I definitely would much rather play like a Call of Duty or a Rainbow Six, or something that will I can pick up, I can play for a little while, and maybe make some progress, maybe not. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have a wife, I have a job, I have, obligations. So, I mean, I always get like kind of upset when I read like things on the internet or whatever about, oh, you're not a real gamer, you're not, this, you're not that. And I mean, I think gamer is a bad term if you're gonna like single people out, because I mean, I'm 30 years old, I've been playing games for 25 years. Who's to say that just because I can't get into a Dark Souls that I'm not a real gamer? Who's to say that somebody who just plays Call of Duty or just plays Madden is not a gamer?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really hate that mentality that it goes to where it's like, oh, you haven't even played Dark Souls, you're such a casual type thing. I kind of hate that mentality that some people in the community sadly have, because it's like, I mean, to me, gaming is probably one of the most accessible hobbies in the world.
Yeah.
Just
it's bigger
because.
than movies now, the movie industry.
Yeah.
Over here, anyway. It's massive here.
Yeah, just because games really allow anyone with any amount of time to play them. It just all depends on what you're playing. And so, which is why it's like, even like we all have that maybe one relative who's like super into Candy Crush or something, or some mobile game, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they're
I think
gamers
we're all
also.
in Candy Crush, right?
Huh?
We were all in the Candy Crush at one point.
I honestly never got into mobile games, I'll be honest.
Neither did I. I hate mobile gaming.
Yeah. I couldn't stand
I always start a mobile game, and then like I always stop a mobile game when I realize where the the paywall is.
Yeah.
How far do you often get?
I think I got up to level 50 or 60 in Candy Crush. I mean,
Okay.
and then that's where things get really difficult, and they want you to buy the power-ups and the or play 3 times and then wait 24 hours and then play another 3 times and then wait another 24 hours.
Oh, I hate time lots like that. I really do.
Yep.
Those are
Yeah,
just
I
wow.
don't see why they need them, to be honest.
No.
Well, I mean, they're
Yeah.
free. They want people to. They want to make money too. I get it. I just.
If they had people playing their game more, wouldn't you think that they would, rather than locking them out for 24 hours, people would get more addicted to the game? Not that
Well,
it's an addiction, but you know.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's the Wales thing where, you know, a million people can play Candy Crush and they can all stop at level 50 because that's where. But there's the one or two people who will pay the couple $100 a piece just to keep playing because they're addicted or
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I say.
yeah, they like those endorphins and the bright happy you did it things.
Yeah, true.
So I mean those games make a bunch of money. I mean,
Right, they really
for
do.
games that you can download for free and
Mhm.
you don't really have to put any money into them whatsoever and get some time out of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Our overlay is officially fixed. Sorry about that, viewers.
Awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
My bad, guys. My
Good
bad.
stuff.
No, it's fine. We anticipated it happening. I had the scene set up and everything. I just had to redo all the screen portions, which did not take long, luckily.
Cool.
Click
Anyway.
and drag.
Yeah. So, yeah, there are definitely games coming. Or Andrew, let's get you introduced here. What do you do?
What do? I play games. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. What do you do at Culture of Gaming, though?
That we all.
Yeah.
Oh, I write mostly news, and I try to do videos. I've been doing a lot of interviews lately, which has been kind of a fun thing. I don't know. It's kind of my thing, I guess. I'm like the interview guy, sort of. I don't know.
Yeah. If you haven't seen
Yeah.
his Tekken interview, you guys should go watch that. It's on YouTube, or it's on Culture of Gaming's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's a great interview.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was a lot of
I
fun. That
enjoyed
was
it a lot.
a fun experience talking to that guy.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. And then the whole like World Championships of Tekken was crazy. It was a lot of fun. Saw a lot of cool players, a lot of like high level players, and
Mhm.
you get to see people you don't normally see. Like casters and all that stuff. And chat with them. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a really small venue though, so that's what was interesting. But
Okay.
it was
Awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of bummed I didn't get to go to PSX.
Yeah.
Today and
California
tomorrow.
is on fire.
Yeah. Like around that area is not great.
No.
And,
California
flying
is
in
on
would be not fun and a pain.
fire. Mhm.
So I didn't really
Yeah.
want to fly in. And
Yeah, I'm in San Diego right now, and the fires are like north. But my wife is still like, well, what if we have to evacuate? And I'm like, we're not going to have to evacuate. They're not coming down this far.
Yeah.
But what if they do? It's like, well, we'll figure it out then.
So you know what? We will cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds a bit like over here.
Is Australia on fire?
Yeah.
Is Australia on fire?
Victoria just, in Christmas time, December, just lights up like crazy.
Okay.
So we had, I think 4 or 5 years ago, we had an absolutely massive bushfire.
Really?
And it basically wiped out the whole of Victoria.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Yeah, so we nearly had to evacuate, but didn't. So, and it was like a 45-degree day that certain day. So it was really hot,
Yeah.
which wasn't good.
No.
Yeah. If any of our viewers are being affected by these disasters, please stay safe. Okay. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evacuate when you're told to. Okay. Just please listen to
Jump in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be right.
Yeah. Honestly, just try and build a raft, start floating in the ocean. Fire can't get to you there. At least,
No.
at least conventionally.
Hmm.
There are a ton of technicalities surrounded by that, but whatever. So, we actually forgot to do this in the intro, but now is a good time, if any. What have you guys been playing this past week? Anthony, let's start with you.
What was I playing yesterday? I was playing GTA 5 yesterday. Just chucked that on with my brother-in-law. He was having a bit of a shot at it. He's not much of a gamer, so.
Okay.
Apart from that, I've been playing. I jumped into Skyrim the day before yesterday, and have just started that again. I haven't yet finished it. I've also been doing a bit of Heavy Weapon, which is like a side-scrolling tank warfare kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. It's just like a go until you die kind of thing. But yeah, that's about it for me. Looking at PCs, but apart from that, that's it.
Yeah. John, how about you?
Been playing Kingdom Hearts and Max Payne mostly.
Okay.
It's kind of a downtime. I've started playing Persona 5, or me and my wife have started playing Persona 5. Not terribly far into it, but liking what we see so far. It's gonna take a while probably for
Yeah.
us to get through that. But yeah, I've had some difficulties, so streaming has been off and on. But so
Yeah, you were
if I
streaming
can,
earlier today, weren't you? Right?
yeah,
Okay.
I was streaming and it was all right. Things kept dropping out, but I think I fixed it.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's good. And then Andrew, how about you? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Neo recently, and
Okay.
I'm not really a big Dark Souls guy, but I actually like this one a lot. It's got a little faster combat to it, which feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I like the setting, like the kind of feudal Japan, but like mystical yokai stuff. It's all pretty cool. It's a little hard, so I'm kind of slowly. I like kind of, I'll do like a half an hour, see if I can get to the next like shrine,
Yeah.
and then I'll turn it off. It's a nice kind of way to play it. I think it's not, so I'm not like raging after I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that and a little bit of Flint Hook, which is a very, very good like roguelike. I don't know if you guys have played Flint Hook at all. It's got a
No.
really cool traversal system with like a grappling hook, so you're flying around. You can slow down time and like shooting your enemies, and also it's a little roguelike power ups. So you can get cursed or get like a benefit depending on how the dice roll is. So it's a cool little roguelike. I'm kind of secretly enjoying a lot of it.
Okay. Okay. So I have not had a lot of time to be playing games this week. It's been exam week at my university. But the semester is now over. But when I have had time, I've actually been playing quite a bit of World of Warcraft. Recently, I think it was 2 Tuesdays ago now. It was no, it would have been, wasn't this Tuesday, but it was the Tuesday before it, I believe, where we got the final raid of the Legion expansion. So the Legion expansion is now formally concluded, and we all wait the new one, Battle for Azeroth, which is the new expansion, which we assume is coming in 2018, probably August 2018. But hopefully earlier, because I don't think people want to go 8 months without content updates. So hopefully it will get something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Legion was overall an incredible expansion for WoW. I liked a lot of parts of it. There were some other parts I didn't quite like. Probably my biggest complaint is if you ever took a hiatus from the game and came back, there was some significant content update, it's really hard to jump back in and get a handle on things again. So yeah, that was
sounds like just about any MMO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's pretty much been it.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so going back to the primary topic at hand, one more Game Awards announcement that I want to touch on, although there were a ton. This is the other one that stuck out to me, was the announcement of Soul Calibur 6.
Yeah.
I remember Soul Calibur 5 coming out back when I still played on Xbox, and I actually can't believe that there hasn't been another Soul Calibur game since then.
Which is the one with Yoda?
Soul Calibur 5.
4?
That was 4 or 5. I
That was
can't remember.
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, that's the last one I played.
Okay.
But I like that. I like Soul Calibur. I'm excited as a fighting game guy.
Yeah.
So like, Tekken's fantastic.
Okay.
Some would say the best fighting game of the year.
Yep, me too.
So I'm excited what Bandai Namco is going to be able to do with Soul Calibur.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the 3D fighting games. It's kind of a genre that never has caught on, I guess. There's Tekken, and some people have a lot of fondness for Virtua Fighter, and then there are the other ones that there's the Dead or Alives or the Soul Caliburs that people like, but they're not like classic competitive fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Soul Calibur a lot. I think as far as like a game that you can pick up and not have to be a super good fighter, you can pick up and you can do some awesome stuff in it. I think there's not Tekken levels of deep to it, but
No.
there is some stuff if you put in some time, you can learn some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never the biggest of a fighter game person, but if I was, from what little I did play of, I think it was Soul Calibur 4 or 5, it's like I would always prefer like the 3D, the 360-degree like ability of movement style. I don't know if there's a particular name for that, but over like the side-to-side Mortal Kombat stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually,
I actually I haven't picked up any Soul Caliburs before, but I'm looking at picking up, I think it's Soul Calibur 2 for the original Xbox.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm looking at getting into that.
Do it.
Yeah, hopefully sometime soon when I get a chance. But if I get hooked on that, then I'll probably pick up Soul Calibur 6. So.
Yeah.
Well, they have an HD version, I think, on 360. I don't know if it's backwards compatible with the one.
Okay. I might have to check that out.
Yeah, they have an HD version of it, and it's just an easier way to play it. So I would check on the marketplace for that one.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I played a lot of Soul Calibur in the arcades, and
yeah,
I mean, consoles. It's kind of like in an arcade, a fighting game is a lot more, easy to throw a quarter into than, pay $60 for the content of like a little story mode and then just multiplayer. But Soul Calibur, I've been picking them up more. I picked up Tekken, and put probably a lot more time into that than I should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat X, I put a lot of time into.
Okay.
So I see them getting more like content rich than just like, hey, here's the arcade mode and here's the multiplayer. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nothing but a good thing.
And so, finally, to wrap up the Game Awards, outside of announcements, there were, of course, the awards part, the primary purpose. It's kind of like the Emmys or Oscars for gaming, which I don't know how good of a comparison that is, but I think it's the closest thing we got. Jeff Keighley, the host, I've actually watched a lot of his stuff over the years. He had a Game Trailers TV show on Spike, which was really interesting to watch and everything. I always viewed it, so back in the day, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this because I am a pretty young person myself. Back in the day on G4, there was Let's Play with Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb. And then my TV provider growing up decided to drop G4 as a channel. And then I think shortly after that, G4 got rid of Let's Play. And so on Spike, which we had in our TV package, there was Game Trailers with Jeff Keighley. So I think he's probably one of the better journalists or hosts in the industry, to be quite honest, because I think he really cares when he's like talking to the developers and everything. I think he really does. So, and he always asks the really correct and like difficult questions to people if they deserve it and whatnot. So he's a really great interviewer for developers. But so I always look forward to whatever like project he's working on. And the Game Awards are kind of the show's season finale, so to speak, for Game Trailers. I don't know if Game Trailers is even still on TV, but that was kind of like
it's not.
Okay, that was kind of the culminating event that it led up to.
Yeah.
And so tons of big names were there. Felicia Day, Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro. They were all there to some degree. iJustine, the voice of someone from Destiny 2. I forget his name right now, but because I didn't pay too much attention to the story when I played Destiny 2. So
There's a story to Destiny 2?
Apparently. Should have told me. Yeah. So there were a ton of pretty big names for the industry there. And there was not Sakamoto. He's the Metroid guy. The Zelda guy, the creative director for Zelda Breath of the Wild. He was there.
Oh, yeah.
With a couple people from his team. So, it was fun to see everybody together like that. But so when the biggest award of the night, Game of the Year, went to Zelda Breath of the Wild. Do we all agree with that? And it was up against Super Mario Odyssey and a couple others. But
I mean, my personal Game of the Year is something different because I didn't really play Zelda, but
Okay.
a Zelda coming out or a Mario coming out, it's a pretty like, foregone conclusion that it'll at least be like one of the top games of the year.
Yeah.
So,
At least a big name Zelda, because we've actually
right, yeah,
had almost yearly Zelda releases the past few years, believe it or not. There was some
yeah,
lesser known titles on the
some
on
HD remakes.
on the DS and
Yeah.
the Wii U and everything. But Breath of the Wild, I definitely agree with it for Game of the Year. It absolutely is my Game of the Year. So, Anthony, how about you? Do you agree with this, or do you think something else? What's your
No, I'd probably agree with it. From what I've seen of it, I would say it's a pretty solid game.
okay?
Well, someone who I know has picked it up and absolutely loved it. A few people on the site absolutely love it and have all said that it's definitely their game of the year. So
Okay.
I would probably agree with it. I haven't spent time with it because I don't have a Switch, but it sounds like a solid game. I think we did a review for it sometime or other,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we gave it a 9 or a 9.5, so
Okay.
or even a 10, so somewhere around there. So yeah, I'd agree with it.
Okay, Andrew, how about yourself?
Yeah, I love it's a very good game. I put like
Yeah.
50 hours into it. It's not my personal game of the year, but I could see why. I mean, like, it's
Okay.
fantastic.
What's your personal game of the year then?
Oh, I'm in between like Yakuza 0 and like Tekken 7. I got weird
Okay.
stuff, man.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
obscure, bro. That is.
I know.
Wow.
Mine's definitely between Nier and Resident Evil 7.
I was
Probably
gonna
gonna
start
be-
Resident Evil like tonight. So
Okay.
actually kinda-
You should do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also Thursday night, the same night that the Game Awards were, the second DLC, the Champions Ballad for Breath of the Wild came out. And just earlier this afternoon, actually, like literally 30 minutes before we were live, I started a new playthrough of Breath of the Wild to experience Master Mode for the first DLC and eventually make it to the Champions Ballad part of the story. So,
Nice.
super excited about that.
Nice.
I should mention I played on Wii U, so like
Oh,
the
okay.
whole portability thing wasn't there
Okay,
for me.
Yeah.
So maybe that would have made it better. But it's
Yeah.
still great. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so that's pretty much the last thing I got in terms of the Game Awards, unless anyone wants to add anything on that you've been wanting to say.
No, I'm good.
No? Okay.
I mean, the Game Awards are a weird thing. They definitely have come a long way from like being hosted by Snoop Dogg,
yeah,
and,
I remember that.
basically being, just ridiculous over the top stuff. I mean, don't know if I would say the Oscars or the Emmys, even though it's probably about the only award show game industry has, but it's not a bad show for basically it being this is what, the most popular games of the year are.
Right. It's definitely
Uh,
matured in terms of format and everything and
It really
presentation.
has.
Yeah.
Have they got
yeah.
a RPG list now?
I'm sorry?
Or because Angry Joe, I think, ripped them
Oh, okay.
apart 2 years ago
Yeah.
and said, "Why haven't you got this? Why haven't you got that? You need to do this and that." And so I think they've come.
I
a long
want to
way
say they
since
did. I want to say they did have like a best RPG category. Zelda might have won that too.
I think it was Persona 5.
Yeah,
I know
I,
Persona 5 was nominated, and so was
Yeah, okay.
Nier.
I would
but-
definitely shoehorn in Persona to
To get something, yeah.
to at least get
Yeah.
something this year. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a mate who was really just infatuated with Persona 5 to say the least. Like he played
Yeah,
it
okay.
for at least a month straight, I think. It was
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, the little bit me and my wife have played, it's great. It's
Okay.
I mean it's a Persona game,
Mhm.
but so if you've ever played any of them, you know what you're getting into. But
Yeah.
the story of it, seems the style of it especially is like really good. It has a style and a personality that not many games have.
Okay.
So I recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely try and play that someday. So speaking of Nintendo, they've had a fantastic year, and last week we talked a little bit, maybe 2018 isn't looking as strong, but I do kind of want to discuss a little bit more about that. What's on the road for Nintendo at 2018? The first maybe big thing we have that we didn't know last week was Bayonetta 3 is a Switch exclusive. and
Okay.
it's coming in February of 2018, and it also includes Bayonetta 2 and 1.
Oh, okay.
So, or rather,
That
Bayonetta
seems
3 doesn't include it, but rather Bayonetta 2 is also coming to the Switch, and that includes Bayonetta 1 also for a
Right.
download, and then we're also getting Bayonetta 3 on the Switch in
Okay.
February of
I
2018.
think Bayonetta becoming a Nintendo exclusive is, strangely enough, like a really good idea.
Hmm.
You know, there's not enough, I guess, weird games on the Switch, or that having Bayonetta 2 and 3 be a Nintendo exclusive
Hmm.
uh strangely works, even though it's a very mature rated, you know, over the top, sexual kind of game, that you wouldn't anticipate being a Nintendo game, but
Yeah.
seems like there's a good enough market there for, you know, people who have a Nintendo product who may not have bought it if it was on PlayStation 4 or Xbox, but
Yeah.
are just looking for stuff to play
Okay.
on their Nintendo product. So, I mean,
I think it needs it. I think the console needs it, definitely. It needs
Yeah.
to increase it's more kid focused, I suppose. Nintendo's always been kid focused. Even your Zeldas and whatnot have kind of been towards that age group. So
Yeah.
I think they need to increase what they have to offer to older audiences.
Well, okay,
Because
so
a lot of sorry, go on, Taylor.
do you think a game like Zelda is necessarily geared towards a younger audience, or do you think it's accessible to a younger audience?
It's more well. I mean, it's more accessible. I mean, a younger person can go and play it quite
Right.
easily,
Right.
but they
I'd say
need.
accessible.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think Nintendo needs more adult. Not that I am a fan of adult content, but I think they need a lot more to choose from for the older audiences.
Okay.
I don't know if I would call Bayonetta adult by any.
I don't know. It's a
just
lot
the
more.
humor, and it's kind of juvenile in its humor
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff.
It's very
But,
innuendo centric.
No, it very very much is a mature rated game.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't know if I would, say it was a
Or
mature
adult.
game.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's a good dose of weird for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I try to view it as this is Nintendo's Metal Gear franchise.
Sure.
Every major
Yeah.
developer has sort of like their weird series with a decent cult following. Sony had Metal Gear for a number of years. They technically still do.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I play Metal Gear is PlayStation.
Yeah, Nintendo's getting a little bit weirder with Bayonetta here. What qualifies this under Microsoft or Xbox? What's their weird series?
Quantum
Yeah.
Break?
Maybe?
Maybe?
No, yeah.
Just let's go with Remedy. Remedy is like they're weird.
Oh, I've never even heard of that. What's that?
Oh, that's the developer, the guys who did
Oh,
Max Payne
okay.
and Alan Wake.
Yes.
They're not a
I
whole
suppose
lot.
you could call Crackdown, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Adult.
Crackdown. That's a good one.
I suppose. Or what was that dragon game that they cancelled?
Dragon's
What was
Dogma?
that?
Oh,
Scalebound?
yeah,
Scalebound.
Okay,
Scalebound.
Scalebound.
That would have been a good one as well. Kind of more Final Fantasy, but yeah.
Okay.
That was a Platinum game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about weird games. You got to say Platinum.
Yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
we'll get Metroid Prime 4 in 2018?
In
Anyone?
2018?
Yeah, in 2018.
Uh,
I feel like we
I
have
feel
to.
like I
No,
kind of
I
feel
don't
like
reckon you will.
Yeah,
we
I
would
mean,
know
what else
about
they
it
have?
already. Yeah,
I'm
I feel like we
honestly.
would have heard about it already.
Yeah, so this is kind of some irresponsible speculation going on, but when examining Nintendo's process for 2018, we know at least in the first quarter 2018 they have Bayonetta 3. Okay.
Okay.
So if you look at
Yeah.
their kind of past this year, Nintendo likes to kind of do quarterly stuff for mid content stuff for the Switch at least. So in what was technically the second quarter, we got the Switch itself and Breath of the Wild. And then for third quarter, we got on the Switch
Mario.
Yeah, kind of
Or was
Mario.
that-
And
yeah,
then,
the kind of third and fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And then third and fourth quarter, we got Mario, we got Doom, we got Skyrim, we got Wolfenstein 2. We got a ton of stuff for the Switch. We really did.
Well, Wolfenstein's not out till next year.
Oh, is it not? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's March.
Okay.
Or some, I want to say.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, I thought that came out with Doom and Skyrim, so that's my fault. Thanks for the correction. Yeah, so we got first quarter of 2018 covered for Nintendo. Let's just say Bayonetta 3. What do you think we'll see more towards the spring and beginning of summer from
I
them?
kind of think there's probably a good chance for there to be some sort of like Animal Crossing or Fire Emblem because they've done the phone games.
Yeah.
I think that might have been a test to see, and I think they both have been successful.
Okay.
Yeah, so that might be what they're, they have those being worked on. So that irresponsible speculation, that's what I would probably, I would speculate towards more than, I hate to say it, but I think Nintendo may have given up on Metroid by now, or not like permanently, but I think it probably will be a little ways before they're behind another Metroid game.
I mean,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that can kind of be a fair point, just because, so at E3 2017, this past year, we got the announcement that Metroid Prime 4 was in development for the Switch. Now, in development can be a very broad term. Like,
especially at Nintendo.
Yeah, like some artist could have some Samus concept art in the corner of his closet and wanting to present it one day, and that would qualify as in development. So we don't exactly know the scope or bounds of in development. So
do you think we'll see Star Fox or Kirby or something like that?
Kirby, maybe. I mean, Kirby kind of seems like they're Kirby or Yoshi, like they're weird. Hey, we have an idea for how we can use these Joy-Cons. Let's throw Kirby or Yoshi on them and throw out a game that people will like. Yeah,
I definitely think we'll see Kirby.
Yeah, maybe not 2018. I mean,
okay.
In the cycle, I could see a Kirby, I could see a Yoshi game, maybe another Conductor Toad game or whatever that was.
What?
What
was that?
Captain Toad.
Captain Toad. There you go.
Yeah.
Wait.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. What? Can you guys elaborate more on this? This is the first I've ever heard of this.
Captain Toad?
Yeah, Captain Toad. What is that?
It was a Wii U game where it was like a puzzle, and you kind of had to rotate the tablet around, and it's like a diorama, and solve puzzles.
Interesting.
Oh, that just reminded me of something.
Interesting.
It's probably pretty good. I never played it, but
okay.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good stuff about it. I haven't had a Nintendo console in years, so.
When they bring a Phoenix Wright to the Switch? I thought that was.
I think so. Yeah. Or no? Didn't we recently review Apollo Justice?
Yeah, that was a 3DS game, wasn't it?
Was it? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So.
I mean, Phoenix Wright or any of those, Phoenix Wright, Apollo Justice, whatever, those games come out pretty frequently.
Yeah.
Once at least every year and a half, I would think.
Yeah.
It just seems like there's always a new one coming out.
Yeah. I'm really hoping 2018 is a decent, strong enough year for Nintendo. Do we think we'll see the Pokemon games that are in development for the Switch come out in 2018? Because we got a little bit more than just a trailer that said in development. We actually got a guy talking about it a little bit. He was at least... Yeah.
Nintendo, they don't say when it's done. They give a release date and then keep pushing that release date out. But,
right.
I mean, Pokemon's kind of like a big deal right now. It would be kind of dumb for them not to capitalize on it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's had a comeback with Pokemon Go. And probably, the ones that just came out, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah.
I would think that they would be trying to get a Pokemon game out as fast as they possibly could at this point.
Okay.
What about Donkey Kong?
Probably actually,
Maybe.
because yeah, you
Maybe.
want to know why? Because Retro Studios, who used to work on the Prime series, isn't doing Prime 4.
No,
So
they
Okay.
did the old like Donkey Kong Country
yeah,
Returns or whatever, those two games. So
Yeah,
they
Jungle Freeze or Tropical Freeze.
yeah, exactly.
yeah, they may be
'Cause
working on another one of those.
Yeah,
They brought one out for the Wii and the Wii U, so it'd be kind of makes sense to bring one to the Switch.
Right.
yeah. We know for a
So-
fact that Retro is working on something that's not Prime 4. So
Another 3D Donkey Kong would be great, like DK64.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome to see.
Could you do that without Rare? I wonder.
Wow, yeah. I mean, if they didn't remake it, but I mean, if they did something original to
Right.
them,
Yeah.
but with 3D, that'd be awesome to see.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'd be down.
I would be 100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, what are you looking for from Nintendo in 2018?
Oh, I don't know. I have like a weird relationship. I don't play that many Nintendo games.
Okay.
Like I bought a Wii U. It came with Mario Kart 8, which is great. I bought Super Mario Maker, and then I haven't turned the console on in like 8 months.
That's about
Okay.
what happened
Yeah,
to my Wii U also.
Yeah,
okay.
and then I don't have a Switch right now, so
Okay.
I just kind of been looking. Like they have a lot of cool indies, and then Mario
Yeah.
looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
that's like it for me. It's like Mario looks great. I want to play it, but other than that, I don't really.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no real reason
I
to
don't
pick
know.
one up.
Yeah, especially if you have like even a PS4 or if PC, especially like you're gonna be able to play most of those indies elsewhere.
Right.
Yeah, on there.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Eventually.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, what's to say that they're not trying to bring some sort of Mario Maker in the next year?
Right.
It'd be weird though because it's not touchscreen. So like.
Well, the Switch does have a touchscreen. There's just no stylus
It does?
for it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
At least I
okay.
don't recall there being a
Yeah.
stylus for it. I rarely use the touchscreen on things, honestly. So I could be wrong, but
Right.
yeah.
I mean, what?
Buttons are the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how far did Mario Maker go? It was just the 8-bit games, wasn't it? Or did they
No.
go up to? Oh no, it went.
You went to the new series.
Yeah.
Oh really? Okay.
Weird art style I don't like, but
Went to 3DS, right?
yeah,
yeah, I
like
went
the,
to at least
Yeah.
3DS. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very.
I heard it
Mario
wasn't
Maker
great
was
there.
Mario Maker was a ton of fun. Once I played it for a couple months, it was a great party game with friends. It really
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
I see that.
I know it got a lot of play on Twitch, so
Yeah.
it seemed to be just about what everybody was doing at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drunken
Do you
Mario
think
Maker was
they'll
very
go
popular.
with? Do you think they'll go with something that hasn't been popular previously, but another Mario and Sonic game?
We're talking like
you think they'll go
Olympic
with
Games
that,
thing,
or-
or
Wow, yeah. I mean, they've been flops usually, so
ooh,
they may
Yeah.
not.
I don't know on this one. This is
Yeah.
wow. I
I
kind of
guess it
think
depends on, if somebody gets drunk enough to greenlight it. And,
yeah. Yeah.
I kind of think Nintendo is being a lot more stricter with what kind of games we're going to see on the Switch because the Wii really suffered from a lot of crapware.
Yeah.
And the Wii U
Yeah.
did to a certain extent, not as bad as the Wii, but yeah, the Switch definitely seems a lot tighter in terms of their standards. So
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they teamed Mario up with Rabbids, so they may.
yes, but
Go
do you
with
know how
Sonic.
good of
If
a
they did
game that
something-
actually was? Like,
Hey,
do you know how good of a game that actually was though? Like that game
Yeah,
had
was it?
no yeah, it was incredibly good actually. Like
Okay.
it had absolutely zero right to be as good as it did.
yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah. Which I can't which I mean I hate Rabbids. They're like the minions of the video game world. But
Yeah.
for whatever reason, Mario and Rabbids was really good.
mm,
I mean, they, took XCOM and put Mario and Rabbids in it, so XCOM's kind of something hard to mess up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I played XCOM 2 on PS4. Let me tell you, they messed that port up pretty bad.
I mean,
Did they? Did
that
they?
definitely doesn't seem like the game series that should be on a console. I remember XCOM kind of having some idiosyncrasies with how it played on like PlayStation 3, because mouse and keyboard seems like the way to go with those kind of
yeah,
games.
with that definitely.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
wasn't
think-
the controls. The controls were fine. It was just like loading in was really weird. Like you would see the texture pop in terribly.
Oh,
like,
really?
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Oof.
really
Right.
slow. It was just not. It performed very poorly. It
Okay.
was really weird. Yeah.
I think I played it a long time ago, but I think I played it for like an hour. One of those games that you play for an hour and then never play it again.
Yeah,
Like
that's
Andromeda.
that's how that's how. Ooh,
I
That's
forgot
how-
that game came out this year.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about it. Okay, that's really that really hurts. It really does.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not our fault you
Disappointment.
beat it.
Huh?
Or you played all the way through it.
Yeah, I know, but it hurts. It hurts to talk about because
You don't need to be reminded. Fair enough.
yeah, I'm trying to wipe that game away from memory
Yeah.
from the world.
That's
I
my
don't blame
personal
you.
game of the year.
Okay,
I'm
that's your opinion,
lying.
man. That's your opinion.
From the 10 minutes I saw of it on YouTube, it looks like it's my favorite game of the year.
Okay.
For all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. It wins worst game of the year. It's like, wow.
Oh, I'm sure there's some garbage out there we could find.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Facial animations are just, they're perfect.
Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
yeah.
Truly
They
innovative.
seem super realistic to me.
Oh, speaking of
Yeah.
face animation, do you know what we got on the Switch also? We got LA Noire on the Switch.
Oh right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's
I like that game a lot actually.
there's actually a ton of third-party ports coming on the Switch.
Yeah.
Do you like the reboot or the original?
I haven't got the reboot yet. The original I liked
Okay.
a lot, so I wonder
Okay.
if it still holds up. But
Yeah.
Apparently, the reboot was not very good as
Really?
far as
The choice system was supposed to be
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, the original choice system was weird too, so it's not like
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
it wasn't rubbish, but it wasn't as good as the original.
yeah.
Okay.
I know it came out on the other systems too about the same time. I kind of have thought about picking it up on PS4 and giving it a whirl, but I just haven't been able to pull the trigger quite yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Fair
like
enough.
too much new stuff. It's hard to go back to some stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Like Max Payne. I'll bring that up again. I just got off a stream playing that, and I think I died falling off of the same platform about 5 times in a row. I'm kind of upset about that.
Yeah. As is the story.
Yes.
Yeah, so Nintendo's 2018 is interesting to say the least. From
It'd be
this is the biggest pipe dream I've had in forever, but I really hope we see a full Trauma Center light series come to the Switch. I absolutely loved Trauma Center back when it was still a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed. I loved it.
What is it?
It's
What is it?
It's Anime Surgeon Simulator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
Okay.
the best way to
It's like
describe.
a light gun game, right? Like you would
What's up?
like shoot. Use like a light gun game. You would shoot like the evil, like stuff, right?
Not quite. No, it
No?
was.
Oh, okay.
No.
Never mind.
I wouldn't quite describe it as a light gun. I mean, the laser made the case for it. The surgical laser they could use made the case for it. But yeah, it was very.
I had some friends who never played any games, but they really liked that game for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, like
More casual, maybe.
I'd say it was on normal or the easy difficulty. It was definitely very casual. It's kind of
Yeah.
It did make you use your brain just a little bit, but I actually it's like I played it when I was pretty young and everything. I actually wanted to be a doctor for a while because of it. Yeah, it's like I also grew up watching House MD, that show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like plus playing that game, and it was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to be a doctor. That's cool.
And then
Yeah,
you
no.
grew up a little bit and you learned, how hard it was to actually be a doctor. And
See, that never actually deterred me. I just got really interested in computers.
yeah,
So yeah, that's my life story, guys.
yep.
Yeah, so
I mean, I wanted to be a lawyer and still kind of do, but if I was going to do that, I should have already started school by this point.
okay.
Oh, yeah. It's
Just
not as bad as mine. I wanted to be a postie.
A what?
A postman, I suppose.
Oh, you want to be a
call that.
postman? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was like 6 or 7, I wanted to be a postman.
Yeah. Andrew, how about
That's
you?
awesome.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I want to be still. I have no idea what's happening in my life. It's a mess.
Okay. All right, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
that's fair. All right, so moving right along here, let's talk about the absolute atrocity that Bungie is committing with Destiny 2. So
Hooray.
we're coming right off the heels of locked content from Battlefront 2 and Destiny's first expansion, the Age of Osiris, or like, I don't know what it's called, something Osiris. Osiris being referred to a sun-based guardian or something in that game, a la the Egyptian pharaoh. So,
Okay.
or not pharaoh, the Egyptian god of the sun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, Destiny 2 has decided to lock content that was previously available to a player behind the
wow.
DLC. So content that you once had access to now requires you to buy the DLC to be able to access it again.
I think like Destiny 1 did the same thing at one point. I remember there being it might have been the Taken King. Like I remember reading a bunch of people,
Oh, that's right.
complaining that you know, right before the Taken King came out, they could play everything, but they didn't buy the Taken King, and then suddenly, they had access to
Locked.
they had access to like
Mm.
Earth or something. Like
Great.
which I mean, I understand kind of.
Mhm.
It's not the right way to do it, but if you're doing some balancing and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
you want people to move towards the balancing, but that balancing should be just part of an update anyway.
Mhm.
Shouldn't be part of a DLC. But I don't know. I don't know what Bungie or Activision, whichever one is calling the shots on that one. I don't know what they're doing or what they're thinking right now.
So
Yeah.
what actually got locked?
I believe, I forget the exact name of it, but I think it was like, it's called like Night Core or like Night Watch or something like that. It's like, it was one of the raids or
Okay.
something like that. Yeah. I forget the
A
exact term.
Nightfall?
Yeah, it was a
think-
Nightfall. It was a
Okay,
Nightfall.
okay.
Nightfall. Okay.
Yeah,
I
haven't
think the
played
best
Destiny, but
Yeah, go on, Andrew. Sorry.
no, I haven't played Destiny 2, so this is
Okay.
like news to me. I actually don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, among a couple other things, but that's like the biggest piece of content that was locked that I
Okay.
know of was the Nightfall.
I think the best thing to do with any Destiny is just wait for everything to come out and then get the whole lot.
Yeah.
With
Right
the
before
collection.
Destiny 3 comes out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's all fresh in your mind, and then you're right.
It's like,
That I don't think they should be locking content. Maybe restrict a couple of missions that allow players to access the different raids or the areas or whatever. Really.
yeah, like you should. I really think you should never take away content from a player.
Or don't even release the original with it. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
add on to it with the DLC, add the missions on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Why even lock it?
Right. Exactly. So you should never
Mhm.
take it away from someone.
Exactly. Because that's what you're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make me mad if I logged into a game and hadn't bought the DLC. Maybe I had, the option to, or I was going to after a payday or something,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, exactly.
come in and there's locked content. That might make me actually just straight up be like, no, I'm good.
It's like,
Mm.
oh,
Walking
well,
away from this.
I guess I'm not
Yeah.
playing this game till the next pay cycle. Damn.
Yeah. Or just like, oh well, if they're gonna do that, then forget it. I'll go play something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait for the season pass or whatever it is, the collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Destiny has a lot of like crazy expensive DLC anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, on the same night that Osiris came out, we got a new content patch, or like revitalization patch for The Division. That game came out in spring of 2016.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
Yep.
that's actually how I spent my spring break, was like a week playing that game. Back when it came out, and it was worth it. I didn't play the game much past that point there. I'm subbed to the subreddit, so I kind of keep up to date as to what's going on in the game.
Yeah.
And I guess this new patch is actually really good, and a lot of people are starting to play and come back to the game again. So
I have it. I own it. I played it for like 2 hours and was not impressed.
okay.
But I got it for like $10. So
Okay.
reselling that to GameStop is like a lost cause.
Rip. Yeah.
eBay.
Yeah.
I've got the same thing. I've got it, played it for
Okay.
a couple of hours, and then kind of gave up on it, I suppose. I seem to do that with a lot of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I might get back into it. It's just been something that, with my Xbox One, I only got the 500 gig version, so
Yeah.
you run out of space, you uninstall it, put something
Yeah.
else on there.
Yeah.
Hard drive
yeah,
shuffle is, it's a real thing.
it's a struggle, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I bought a 4 terabyte hard drive, external hard drive for my PlayStation as soon as they let you do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I haven't had any problems since.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do we so okay, this is what something Anthony said is kind of a bigger topic we can talk about a little bit. Is it how it's like what time frame do you give a game to hook you into it? Like how long
good
does
question.
like when you're sitting down and playing a game for the first time, how long does the game have to hook you into it to make you keep playing?
So I tend to give a game, I don't know. It kind of depends on the game. Like, if I get past the tutorial and things open up and I realize, that it's not my kind of game, I'll drop it then. Or, I'll give it 3 or 4 hours to see, what it feels, what feels good.
Uh-huh.
I kind of like play them like in a chunk.
Okay.
Just, like put in 2 or 3 hours like right away, and then let it kind of just like ruminate.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like if every other time I'm like, I can go back and play that, then I'm like, nah.
No,
Yeah, then I know that I'm probably never gonna go back and play it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I usually give them time to get through the tutorial and then open up gameplay and see what it actually has to offer as far as all the mechanics and whatnot.
Okay.
If it doesn't grab me, I'll just put it down and I might jump back into it later on. But that hasn't really happened with me with the Division. I kind of had that with Skyrim as well.
Really?
Kind of played it a bit and then didn't really like it until I played Oblivion beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it was a few years ago on the PS3, and I was a bit younger then, so I didn't really, wasn't really my kind of game.
Yeah.
But now it is. So
I like Skyrim and like the two Witcher 2 and Witcher 3, those kind of games, like they're overwhelming to me. Like
Okay.
yeah, they throw too much at you.
Yeah, you see like a huge list of things, and you're like, well, what do I want to do next? And then eventually it's just it's exhausting to be like, well, I guess I could go here, I could do this, or they're great games. They just, I don't.
I mean, I was a bit like that, but I just tend to work my way down the list, even if it's like a side quest or whatever. I absolutely love The Witcher 3. I've only just gotten into that. Didn't like The Witcher 2 though. So,
yeah, I've watched my wife play pretty much all of like vanilla Witcher 3, and I like watching it. I think it would probably also overwhelm me with, here's a giant list of, things that you're tracking all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm actually in the boat where I put like 26. So I've actually read The Witcher as a series of books. So I do kind of have an idea of what goes on in those games, but or because they are loosely based off the books to a certain extent. But I put like 26 hours over the course of 3 or 4 days into the first Witcher game when I started to play through, and then I think, I don't know, it's like I stopped playing, or it's like I wasn't around PC for the next couple days, and then it's like when I got back, I just never picked it back up. So yeah, it's not that it was bad or anything, but it's just kind of one of those things that happened. I'll probably go back and go through it again, but yeah.
Yeah, I usually give around like 2 hours, and if I'm not hooked, I'm usually like, all right, I guess I'm done.
Man, okay, I have an incredibly high boundary for a game then. It's like I give it 8 to 10 hours, honestly.
Wow.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I give it 8 to 10 hours.
That's longer than a lot of games.
Yeah, I know, but like
I also have a problem starting games. I'm like, oh man, I gotta start a new game. Like I can't do that. I can't start one. I get anxiety. I'm like, I can't start a new game. It's just not.
And I think if it doesn't grab me, it just kind of goes into my, my backlog. And like, it's like, well, if I don't have, I have a problem with going to GameStop and buying like 4 $10 games at a time instead of like one $40 game.
Yeah.
And then like, try this game out, and then try this game out, and then try this game out, and one of them will pick, will catch me, and then the other ones just kind of sit on my shelf until like some other time when I'm like, well, let's try this game. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe I have such a high boundary because I play quite a few MMOs actually.
Yeah.
I played WoW since I was probably too young to be playing WoW. Yeah, and then when I got older, it's like the first like real MMO I played when I was older or started playing was EVE Online, which I still play quite a bit to this day. And I mean, EVE Online has a learning curve of a couple years. So, yeah, or the learning cliff of a couple years. And there's an adorable dog on screen. Hello.
That's a cat.
Oh, cat. Okay. I only saw the ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anyway. Yeah. And so maybe that's why it's because in World of Warcraft I don't think it hooks you in to keep playing to get to the end game content at least.
Yeah.
It's like that's the big hook in, so maybe that's why. And then with EVE Online it's like, well, I mean, it is fun. It can be fun as long as you get set up properly and everything, which can be difficult to do. But yeah. But other games that aren't MMOs, I still give 8 to 10 hours for, honestly. There are very few, like, it's mostly with RPGs, I'll be honest, that this can happen. Is like, I'll give an RPG solid, like, 8 to 10 hours, because, you know, I want to not only go through the starting area, but, you know, experience what the world has to offer for me and everything. But then with, like, FPS games or something, usually I'm trying to say about hour, 2 hours or so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know real fast whether a first-person shooter is a game you want to keep playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't usually have long tutorials, and you figure out real fast if, you know, they have good shooting or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, it's super easy to judge.
Yeah, definitely.
Sports games are kind of the same way also.
Yeah.
You know, you figure out if it's, you know, a good facsimile of the game, you know, the sport, and then, you know, I think that's why, like, I always, like, wind up buying wrestling games. And
what's the gameplay like?
Only play like an hour of them.
Okay.
They never really feel like an actual, like, wrestling match ever.
I wonder why. Wonder why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's any last thoughts about this game hooking you into it?
Nah.
Okay.
All good. All good.
Yeah. So our final topic of the day is esports in the Olympics. This is actually a real possibility. So, do you think this is one, very perspective, two, something that like the general audience would enjoy watching, and three, what games would you like to see being played in the Olympics?
I think it's a good, at least a good idea. In theory, to draw in some people who, some of the younger crowd, you know, draw in a different audience for some stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, most of the stuff in the Olympics are not the popular sports. I mean, maybe baseball, but, you know, nobody's, you know, hammering down the door to, like, watch gymnastics.
Yeah. I'd say women's gymnastics is pretty big in the United States, or actually everywhere.
Well, I mean, during the Olympics, yeah. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of, like, gymnastics on ESPN anytime other than the Olympics.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also an ex-gymnast and a gymnastics coach, so, like.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of into it.
I know the surroundings a little bit better.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, you know, esports. I don't know if it would be difficult to set up in an Olympic type situation. It kind of.
I mean, I'd have to do it at a different venue, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I think it's doable. I just don't know how like the older people would take it, I guess. I mean, you have like a, you know, Counter-Strike maybe would be okay, but definitely wouldn't want like Mortal Kombat as one of the games. Or
I would say like a fighting game is like a good way to start because like you got the life bars. It's easy to tell who's winning, who's losing. You know,
maybe
like,
a Street Fighter.
Yeah, like
maybe
a Street
Fighter.
I don't know about Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter, I don't know.
Okay.
But
Well,
it's okay.
maybe not a game
Tekken.
as
We'll go
like,
with Tekken.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe not a game as
Tekken
spine
games.
ripping out as Mortal Kombat. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
I mean,
still fine.
curling's an Olympic sport. I mean, there's no way they couldn't figure out how to make esports work.
Right.
But
That's true. Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
I don't think it's got a place in Olympics,
Okay.
to be honest, because I mean you got to really look at the definition of a sport, really. So
Right.
it's like I'm not saying that esports aren't a sport. I'm just saying that
I was
the
about to say
Olympics has always been like a physical activity qualifies for the Olympics. I mean, they could probably include it in like the Commonwealth Games, which we're about to have here next year, 2018, or something like that. Or even if, I don't think it's got a place in Olympics.
Okay.
I think they could do it in other events, but not in the Olympics.
Okay.
Maybe that's where they should start, is in other events, and see.
See how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's something that you would want to just straight jump to, the big world stage all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Especially considering, like, League of Legends or, games that you think of as esports, it's basically like America and then, like, Korea.
Right.
And then a few little places in between, but,
Kind of depends on the game. Like, CSGO is hype in Europe, not so much. Or it is pretty hype in North America also, but I mean, the best teams in CSGO are European, or Brazilian, and the best players of StarCraft are Korean. Wow, yeah, and so it kind of depends on what game genre we're talking about.
Yeah.
Even if they did tryouts, for instance, I mean, they'd have to, for here, for instance, they'd have to gather teams from all over Australia.
Yeah.
And then, have the best, and then because the Commonwealth Games involves all of, I think, France and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure if America's involved in that one. But if they tried it out here, then it might pick up pace, and then they could kind of gather teams from all the different countries involved, even though they're not a massive esports country kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the question the question to ask though is, would these esports teams be willing to do something like this without getting paid whatsoever for it?
Right, that's the other thing
room
too.
and board.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't trust that, like, they would be able, because I think there's, like, the managers and that kind of stuff are, like, super big on, like, we're going to get us as much money as possible because my paycheck happens. We can't take time out to go to France and, spend 2 weeks giving our stuff away for free just to, maybe get a gold medal.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
The IOC, the International Olympic Commission or Committee, is actually like seriously considering this. So
right.
That's why I'm bringing it up here. And if it did happen, I would kind of like to see every genre of, so to speak, of esport represented. So, I'd like to see a fighting game represented. I would like to see an RTS represented. It'd be StarCraft. It'd just be StarCraft. I'd like to see an FPS represented, either pretty much CSGO or Siege or something. And then
is Overwatch not? I know that's big. Is that not?
I mean,
I know they are kind of doing like they have like all the people from around the world and stuff in the game. I don't know.
Yeah, Overwatch.
They're trying to.
Yeah, they're trying to.
I don't.
The problem I have with Overwatch is, even as like someone who's played a fair bit of it to understand and know the mechanics and every hero's abilities and everything that's going into it, it's still really difficult for me to watch. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it has a big part of it has to be accessibility. And I mean,
yeah, definitely.
So a game like Siege or CSGO is very accessible to someone who's never really seen a video game in their life to understand.
Yes. Yeah. Especially, like, considering more than likely if that did happen, it would probably be some sort of, like, all-around competition.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have, like, this is the first-person shooter area, and then this is, the people competing for, like, the fighting area. It would just kind of probably be like, the American team is running through, these different games, know, and whoever has the most points at the end gets, the medals or whatever.
Yeah.
That's at least to begin with, anyway. I mean, if something like that happened and then took off,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's during Olympic season there's way too much I guess competition for like TV time
Yeah, that's fair.
to the point where like they cut out literally the one Greek sport left in the Olympics, wrestling, at one point because it just wasn't getting any
Views or attention.
views. Yeah, and so like you
Golf
might
was
get
at one stage of sport,
yeah, it was, and
and then they got rid of that.
yep.
Yeah.
It's always like moving in and out. Now, if they wanted to have a like still Olympic thing, like maybe the week before that's like eSports,
Mm-hmm.
just take a week out and let each one of those sports go at it, or each one of those games have their tournament or whatever, then maybe it would work.
Yeah.
But from what I know of the game industry, I don't know how much like legally they would allow for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I see where you're coming from right now.
yeah, their tournaments and stuff makes them a lot of money.
Right.
But it makes them a lot of money because a lot of money comes into the people who are playing it and the people who are putting it on, and blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
The Olympics would just be like, hey, can we use this? We would throw you a couple $1,000s or something maybe.
Yeah.
And they I don't know if Capcom would be like, oh yeah, sure, go ahead, you can use Street Fighter 5.
Yeah. Too many hoops to jump through, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. The video game industry is a lot like that, though. It's all about the bottom line. It's not necessarily always about respectability or that kind of stuff.
It's not always, well, this is a fun idea, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, any closing thoughts on this one? Because I think we covered it pretty well. There's a ton of legal stuff to go into it, organizational stuff that would have to go into it if this even became a thing. So we can only irresponsibly speculate as to what the case might be if they do, in fact, adopt it.
You never know. It could be a miracle, and everything happen. But I wouldn't put it past anybody.
Yeah, it could be because I would definitely like to see it. I would definitely like to see it personally.
Yeah, I would too.
All right, and so we have the couch of John talking to us right now. Concluding, our concluding topic is, or rather,
I just had to turn my light on.
Start into the conclusion. Moreover, is real quick, what game are you looking forward to the most in 2018?
I'm kind of mixed at the moment, so I'm looking at swapping over to PC, so I'm not really not anything yet. I've got to get familiar with the Steam library and all of that and see what's coming out, so I don't really have any thoughts yet.
Okay. John?
Go ahead.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I haven't played it. I don't have a PC. But when I do build that PC, I'm going to play it for the first time. I'm going to see what everyone's talking about next year.
Okay.
When it's finished, maybe.
Yeah, when it's full release.
What is it? 1.0 comes out in like a week or two?
Yeah, it's like the 17th, I think. Or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know it was that far off. All right, John, how about you?
Still kind of looking forward to Far Cry 5. I'm looking forward to the like angry people with Far Cry 5, I guess, more than Far Cry 5 itself. But
the angry cops.
Yeah, I'll play it more than likely, unless it's
it just got delayed.
Like it's.
Yeah, it got delayed a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it got delayed a month.
Oof.
Oh well.
Oh wow! Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. Looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2 if that actually comes out in 2018.
I changed my answer. That's my answer.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
I think technically Death Stranding is 2018 also, but that probably won't come out in 2018 either.
Right.
Yeah.
Just going off games we know are confirmed for 2018.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they all have a 2018 release date, or they've said.
Yeah.
we would like it to come out, but Rockstar and Kojima both are notorious for it's not done yet. We'll
Right.
push it off. So if those games come out in 2018, I'll look forward to them.
Yeah. I'll honestly expect Red Dead Redemption 2 to be April of 2019.
Oh,
That sounds maybe more of like an accurate.
Yeah, I'll call it right now. April or May of 2019, Red Dead Redemption 2. You heard it here first, folks.
right.
Bookmark this
yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah. Anyway, so for me, in terms of, because to me, Death Stranding is still up in the air in terms of a release date. So, because knowing Kojima, it's going to be delayed
Oh yeah.
a while. So, 2018, the most anticipated game for me is Ace Combat 7, actually.
Okay.
I would say Star Citizen, or Squadron 42 at least, if that was more likely. But I honestly don't think we'll see Squadron 42 for Star Citizen. I'm sure like the very few people in the audience know what I'm talking about right now. Until
I know what Star Citizen is. Yeah.
until
I know
2019.
that as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Most people I talk to actually have no idea what it is. So, anyway, so yeah, we'll probably see that in 2019. So for 2018 for me, Ace Combat 7. So this has been
Cool.
Culture of Gaming's Power Up podcast, and Anthony, where can we find you on social media, if any, or Twitch or something?
Ooh, interesting. I don't really do Facebook or Twitter, but I keep a close eye on what the site's doing. So head on over to our websites, Facebook, Twitter. What else we got, John?
Instagram.
Do we really?
Instagram, YouTube.
Player.me.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Do we have a
Obviously,
SoundCloud
all
yet?
that,
Do we have a SoundCloud yet?
all that cool
No,
stuff.
we don't.
Okay.
Should start one of those up.
Yeah.
We'll probably have a SoundCloud by the time this podcast happens next week.
Yeah.
And we're about to work on putting all of these podcasts on iTunes and Google Play and all of that. So that'll be happening very shortly.
Yeah. John, any social media that you'd like the people to follow you on? Specifically you as a person?
So just about anything. It's usually left stick. Twitter is at left stick. Twitch is left stick.
Okay.
YouTube is left stick gaming.
Okay.
And I think Facebook is as well. So
And then
He's
Twitch
got a
at
cat in
Left
his
Stick also,
profile
right?
pictures. That's easy to see.
yeah,
Twitch at Left Stick
this
also.
cat right here.
Okay. Then Andrew, how about you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, and all the fun social media stuff at Duronsky. That's DURONSKI.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm not really on social media too much. I'm on Twitter, although the only people that I really follow on Twitter or people who follow me on Twitter are a bunch of my EVE like buddies and other EVE journalists from another site that I wrote for before coming to this one. And so yeah, I don't really use Twitter, so that's the only thing I'm on. So you won't get very much out of following me. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. If you want to check out my Twitch channel, I rarely stream, but when I do, it's always a fun time. It's twitch.tv/infurious7809. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put links to everybody's in the description when this goes up. And so, yeah. So this has
Cool.
been Culture of Gaming's Power Up Podcast. We will see you guys here next week. Same great time, same great place.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.